on this computer. Hey,
we're done. We're fantastic. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Glamour Club. Janice Moth of the Glamour Club. Me, Bob Spiderman, Worthing Town Crier and Toastmaster. And we're here on February the 4th, my nephew's birthday, 42 today, makes you feel very old. But more importantly, it is Time to Talk Day. We've got lots of these little cards, which I'm not sure you can see there, but run by the Time to Change campaign. Hey, I'm in your corner, be by your side. And it's a day where we encourage people to talk. As a society, we're not necessarily all that good about talking about our feelings, are we, Janice?
No. That's
So
right.
what can the Glamour Club do to get people talking about how they're feeling?
Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Janice. I'm the owner and creator of the Glamour Club. And we are for people who are 50 and over, but everyone's welcome. So we're pioneers and we're activists and catalysts for change. We're an event which is bi-monthly and it's vintage and themed and it's in Broadwater. So what we do is you'll come in at noon, you'll leave at 3, you'll have a high tea served by table host and 3 times 30 minutes live entertainment, all your favourite numbers from the flying 40s to the swinging 70s. Now, when we say we're pioneers and we're activists for change, it's because we're dementia friendly. We are disability confident and we're eco-friendly. So we're going back to the future. And when you come to the Glamour Club event, you'll be greeted on arrival by a stilt walking butler and you'll be ushered to your table by a table host. Now, the Glamour Club has been really well thought out. So we have 12 tables of 6 and everybody is served a high tea. So what we do is we encourage people to speak to each other simply by smiling, saying hello. So we can all do that, Bob, can't we?
Absolutely, and I think that's the thing. One of the phrases I use a lot, which was a quote from Dolly Parton actually, which is if you see somebody going around without a smile on their face, go and give them yours, because you don't know what's going on in somebody's mind. You know, if they're looking a bit unhappy, try and enter into a conversation. If that's difficult for whatever reason, because you haven't got the time because you're running for a bus or whatever, then just smile at somebody, you know. But actually, if you've got friends or family, you know, Time to Talk Day is it's just one day in the year. You know, we should be doing it all the time, but it's an opportunity on that day just to reach out to somebody by phone or by text, somebody that you perhaps haven't heard from for a little while, for all sorts of reasons. And you know, we all live busy lives, you know, not so much at the moment because we're all locked down, but people still aren't communicating, you know, having a Zoom call like we're having today on Time to Talk Day, Janice, or just picking up the phone, picking up the text, sending somebody a WhatsApp message. You know, it's really important just to reach out. I've got some of the I've got one of the posters here. I'm not sure we can see that there, because I think you can just see me. I think that was me in Buckingham Palace on the front page of the Journal. It's not me photobombing with the town crier, but there's a couple of lovely quotes here, Janice, from this year's Time to Talk campaign. Why do people say they're all right when they're not? They don't really want to know how I'm feeling. I'm worried about what might happen if I say how I really feel. Show your mate you care. The hashtag is ask twice. So we're all very good at saying, oh, how are you? And getting the bus or going into a shop or whatever. But it's really important we just think about it and, you know, ask somebody again. You know, if you're not, particularly if it's somebody you know, and they're not their usual self, and they say, oh, I'm all right, ask them again, are you really all right? And just have those conversations, particularly men. Men are the worst at it, actually. Women are great at talking, aren't they, Janice? But you know, actually I'm fine at talking too. But you know, but men historically are not very good at talking about it. I watched a very interesting program on, I think it was on Sunday or the weekend, about infertility. Not very relevant to our talk, but I think is it Rod Morgan was talking about infertility in men, and how the statistics show that infertility problems are 50-50 between men and women, but actually there's hundreds and thousands of support groups for women who are infertile, but men don't talk about it. There's no support groups for men to talk about, but yet they're 50% responsible for families that want to create a new life being infertile. And basically what he was doing was launching this campaign to actually get men talking about fertility. But there's what the Time to Talk is about getting people to talk about their mental health. And it's not necessarily about depression or bipolar or the various types of diagnosis that you're well used to, Janice, in your job at the Partnership Trust, who do an amazing job as our acute mental health trust. But actually, there's lots of people, and one of the things I talk a lot about at Mental Health Week is there's lots of people who actually have everyone has mental health. And actually, it's about making sure that we make the best from our mental health, and one of the best ways you can do that is by reaching out and talking, whether it's by conversations like this on Zoom because of the pandemic, texting somebody, phoning somebody, or whatever it might be. It's really important that we reach out. So I've got lots of resources, not really able to get out and promote them really, but I've got lots of these cards and things, postcards where you can write those out. So if anyone wants anything like that, I've got Time to Talk badges, be in your mate's corner. You all right, bruv? Lots of different things on there.
Well, if I could just interrupt
you.
You
can
do. You carry
there. No, you carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that I work at Sussex Partnership, the NHS Foundation Trust, which is mental health, and I've been there for over a decade now. And we have been campaigning tirelessly with a very small budget, in comparison to physical health. But with the money that we have, we work very well. And what I found is there's a shift to relying on governments, relying on these the NHS, relying on all of these things that we would traditionally rely on. And there's all these little splinter groups coming up, which are really well organised. I mean, today I've been talking to a lady called Claire Kennedy, and she's based in Brighton. She has a charity called Kennedy Street. Her husband used to be in Coronation Street. He was the character Curly Watts. And what she does is she's got together her charity, which will signpost people to anything that you're struggling with. She will be able to signpost you, and all over the world. So there's many groups like Dad La Soul. They've sprung up, because dads need somewhere to go, and dads need to talk to their peers about all the struggles they're having. And also there's a wilderness project which has sprung out of Dad La Soul, and I don't think it's anything to do with Dad La Soul, but two of the directors, and they're going out and they're encouraging men to go out for walks together, socially distanced as a buddy. So there are many things that you can do outside of those traditional, and also churches are doing a lot of stuff, which they always are. I mean, they're the sort of hidden heroes in the background that don't boast about the works that they do. So there's many things that you can do. And today, I don't know if you've noticed, Bob, but I've got on red.
I know you're wearing lots of red, Janice.
I'm wearing red and purple because I wanted to tell you a little story about some of the people that come to the Glamour Club. And I never heard of them before, but they're called the Red Hatters. And they started out in America. I've just got a little sheet here because there was a lot. When I started researching it, I just thought, oh, isn't that lovely? So in the autumn of 1997, Sue Ellen Cooper, an artist from California, she purchased an old red fedora hat for a friend from a second-hand shop for £7.50. And when it neared her 50th birthday, she gave her friend this hat, and she said, it's come with a warning. When I'm an older woman, I shall wear purple with a red hat, which doesn't go and doesn't suit me. And she wanted to encourage her friend to grow older in a playful manner. So this red hat and the purple came a symbol for a little tea party society where ladies would all get together and just have an absolute ball together. So that's just an example of something that started off in a little place with somebody just buying someone a hat that didn't go. And when they come to the Glamour Club, they all sit together and they stand out. And it's just so lovely. And I don't know about you, Bob, when you get dressed up in fancy dress,
I'm not one for I'm not one for dressing up, Janice, as you know.
when I wear things like this, I feel like I want to have fun, you know. So there are small things that you can do to cheer yourself up. And on Time to Talk Day, it's about smashing down those barriers. It's about smashing down, you know, people feel ashamed because they're struggling. Don't feel ashamed. Reach out to someone. People feel like they're less of a person because they're struggling, and when everybody around them seems like, oh, they're doing fine. And when someone says, I'm doing fine, what does that mean? You know, it might mean that they're doing fine in their sphere of their life, but actually somebody else might think, I mean, I'm really thinking about people who are absolutely caning the alcohol at the moment, because a lot of us are working from home, Bob, and so we don't have to face our colleagues. We can sort of like struggle through the day with that awful hangover without anybody knowing. Well, actually, that is a recipe for disaster. So I just want to encourage people to sort of recognise in themselves that it is a difficult time, and even before COVID, it is difficult with people's mental health struggles. So just try and recognise those things that you're doing in your own life and reach out for help. People like Claire Kennedy of Kennedy Street, they'll help you. The Samaritans will help you.
Yeah.
The Sussex Partnership, we have a mental health light, they will help you.
Yeah, I've just noticed we've just been joined by Patrick Woodward online, of course, a very active Samaritan, and does lots of work.
Yeah, how so good wonderful evening. Is that?
Good evening, Patrick, and Melanie Peters, Julie Cheeseman, Sue Chapman, and Donna. So yeah,
hello, everyone.
Yeah, hello. So it's great to have you with us for this live session. For those of you that are just joining, actually, it's Time to Talk Day, which this year is the 4th of February, and it's organised by the Time to Change campaign on behalf of a number of the mental health charities. I'm, of course, associated with Mind here in West Sussex. And one of the things you mentioned, of course, the pandemic, which, of course, is terrible, this global pandemic causing us to be locked down. But I think one of the things those of us that work in mental health have been aware for a very long time is the mental health pandemic in our community, which is only going to get worse as a result of the COVID pandemic. And that's why days like today are really important, just to set an example and just to let people know that actually you can reach out. There are places where you can reach out, and we can all do it. You don't have to be, you know, a member of the NHS trust like yourself. You know, you don't have to be a professional person. Actually, anyone can look out for their friends, you know, by just asking how they are, but really asking how they are. Don't just say, all right, mate, you know, if you're not sure, ask again, ask twice. That's the hashtag of this year. Hashtag ask twice. Yeah. You know, if you're not if you think somebody's just kind of saying I'm all right, just to kind of get rid of you so they can get on the bus, then ask again. It's really important. Denise White, good evening, Denise. Thank you for joining us on Time to Talk Day. It's just a great opportunity just to use this opportunity, medium of Zoom, to live stream to Facebook. We're recording so that you can share this later on with your Glamour Club contacts. But I've got lots and lots of resources, which I've got all sorts of cards. If you really want to find out how they are, ask twice. Little postcards. And on the back of the postcard, there's room to sort of fill in, even put a stamp on it if you want. There's a novelty, isn't it? We don't do that very often. But sometimes friends are saying they're fine when they're not. Asking them a second time shows that you're asking for real, and they're there to listen. Hashtag ask twice, and the website, and just that little note. You can even put a stamp on. You can't really see that, but you put a little stamp on the corner and actually post that message on a postcard to somebody.
Yeah, it's lovely.
You know,
that's really nice, Bob.
Yeah. So if anyone wants any resources, please get in touch with me. I'm happy to make those resources available and get those to you in a socially distanced way. But it's just really important that we use all the mediums we can, use our profiles just to get people to reach out and talk. It's so important that we communicate. I've been on the phone to lots of different people today. I'll probably have some more conversations this evening with people that I've ran out of time, that I haven't had a chance to speak to. And it's just a case of just reaching out to people. Jason Passfield from the council. Good evening, Jason. Thank you for joining us. It's great that so many people have joined us this evening for our time to talk day. The time to change challenge, and get people just talking about mental health, because as we mentioned at the start, everybody has mental health. So there should be no stigma around mental health. Of course, we know that there is, don't we, Janice? But
yeah.
But there should be no stigma. And in terms of people growing old gracefully, you know, I'm chairman, which I'm very proud of, Dementia Friendly Worthing, which was set up over 7 years ago now with my 3 charities when I was mayor of Worthing. They're still working together. My 3 charities have come together with a number of other charities and other organizations to make our community dementia friendly. As people get older, people are often more likely to get diagnosed with dementia. But actually, just because you've had a diagnosis of dementia doesn't mean that your life's over, doesn't mean you can't play an active role in society. One of the things we've just in the process of preparing for is an Easter concert. We're going to have to do it virtually because there's no way we're going to get together at Easter, but it's going to hopefully be intergenerational. We've got 4 new young people from Zion School who we've elected to the steering group of Dementia Friendly Worthing. How amazing is that? That's young people with a real interest in the topic of dementia, because they kind of they want to know more about it. They become dementia friends as young people, but they want to help and make our community dementia friendly, which is so important.
It is. And on the topic of, I mean, the United Nations says that at 50 years old, you're an older person. So what you said, Bob, was, and I feel really passionate, and I'm sort of campaigning in a way against ageism and the stereotypes around age. So when you reach a certain age, you can be sort of like, the stereotype is, oh, well, if you're this age, then you're not going to be contributing anymore in a positive way to society. And I really want to help smash down those myths as well, because as a woman, and I'm going to be 55 this year, I feel like I'm just starting off my journey. I mean,
absolutely.
I've got a growth mindset.
I want to see your birth certificate. I don't believe you.
But the thing is, I've got a growth mindset, and I will always learn. Every day I'm learning things, and it's an absolute joy. And the thing that I really like about learning is that you can share the learning, and you can pass your experiences down to others. And I absolutely love the idea of being intergenerational as well, because a lot of our socioeconomic. If I look at my mum's family, they all sort of like my grandmother, all of her family stayed in Glasgow, and by my mum's generation, she's 75. You had people going to Canada because of jobs. There was no jobs in Glasgow, so they went to Canada or they went to Australia. So already you've seen like this socio-economic sort of people traveling and living in different countries. So the breakdown of the family and the community. And I know growing up, I really missed being in that family unit. So I think what it is we have to try to replicate that somehow. And it's places like the Glamour Club where we all come together to have a really lovely time. that and because it's very visual as well, and it's great fun. You can see what an intergenerational community looks like at its best. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm really pleased that there is this day called Time to Talk, because we talk about these things all the time off the top of our heads, and we don't have a problem with it, Bob. But a lot of people would have a problem with it. And I just want to reach out, even if one person's life is changed by this conversation today, then our job here is done, Bob.
Absolutely. And it's something that I'm absolutely passionate about. And my colleague on the council, Martin McCabe, and I are so passionate about this. We're trying to persuade the council at the moment to launch our own chat bench scheme. There's a scheme called the Friendly Bench, which is sort of a trademark scheme, but the costs associated with that are huge. But actually, we don't need anything like that. Well, one of the things we've done in Tarrying, which is where I'm a councillor, is we've got our own chat bench. Actually, it was funded by City Fibre, who are obviously rolling out the gigabit broadband across Ada and Worthing. As part of supporting the community, they've actually given us the funding for our own bench at the top of Tarrying, at the top of Tarrying High Street. And it's just a great place between the two schools. In a very central part of Worthing, where people can just sit, pass the time of day. We've got our Tarrying notice board there as well in that triangle for those that don't know it, and it's really easy just to sit and have a chat. And it's, and as a result of that, we've been contacted by a group in Goring of the Friends of West Park, that they're looking at having the same thing in their area, and they're working with the council to try and get permission to have they're in the process of raising the money, and they want to give the council to give them permission to have a chat bench on West Park, and we're advising them how best to go about doing that, because it's so important that actually people have the confidence just to sit and have a chat, and it's about acknowledging. I know one of the reservations the council had by endorsing the scheme was they were concerned by endorsing some sort of scheme, they're kind of almost acknowledging that that actually the council are somehow the mental health counsellors and professionals. That's not what the scheme's about. The scheme is about just providing a bench where actually the public can actually just sit and have a chat to somebody else, with no responsibility for the council to actually undertake any sort of mental health work. It's about actually just having, the common sense in our communities to get people together, on something simple like a bench where they can sit and have a chat. And as part of that conversation, nobody's expected to say to somebody, oh my God, I'm worried about that person. They might take their own life, or they might do that. There's other services out there that will do that. And Mental Health Awareness Week, we had 3 sessions with Samaritans, which are still available on this Facebook page, which go into exactly what the Samaritans do as a listening organisation. So there's plenty of people that can do that formal sort of listening mental health support, but actually our chat benches is just about human to human interaction. And if that could be intergenerational with, with our one in Tarrying to close to 2 schools, actually those young people can perhaps talk to some of the older people that live in the high street. That's brilliant, isn't it? There's a number of
I love all those initiatives. I think it's about people power, isn't it? Thinking outside the box. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, and it just has to be pleasant for people around. So I think, Bob, what do you reckon? We've said enough tonight.
I think we've done enough talking on Time to Talk Day. You're right, Janice.
It's Time to Talk Day. We're allowed, aren't we, tonight?
we're definitely allowed. But it'd be great if once you finish the recording, share this across your channels. I'll leave this. This is obviously going on 3 Facebook pages, which will stay there. I've got lots of resources around Time to Talk, so it's not just. It's worth mentioning. It's not just today. This Ask Twice campaign is every day of the year. We can all make a difference to people we meet. So when you see somebody tomorrow, and you ask them how they are, and they say, "Well, I'm all right, pal," just think to yourself, are they really all right? Do I need to ask them again? Because we all know people that we interact. So hashtag Ask Twice is what it's all about. I've got some posters, I've got some cards, we got all sorts. We've got lots of resources. I've got some great badges. So please look out for each other. If you see somebody going around without a smile on their face tomorrow, go and give them yours.
I was just thinking as well, Bob, right? I hadn't thought of it until now. If anyone wants me to come and talk to a group of people or individuals about a subject that we can agree on, please invite me. If I can't talk about that subject, then I probably know someone that would come along. So please get in touch, and I'm going to steal your Dolly Parton one.
Yeah.
If you see someone who doesn't have a smile on their face, give them yours.
Lovely. And we've just been joined by Dr. Peter Ridge.
Oh, hi, Peter.
Our good friend, Dr. Peter Ridge. Thank you for joining us on Time to Talk Day, Peter. Peter, I know, shares our vision as a former trustee of West Sussex Mind and does a huge amount entertaining our community in ordinary times. And hopefully we can get back to entertaining people face to face very soon. But there's lots and lots of opportunities until such time as we can physically be together. Share these opportunities with Zoom. There's your offer from Janice if you want somebody to talk. If you want to talk about the history of Worthing, if you want the history of town criers, I know somebody who can do a talk about town criers, and I'm very happy to facilitate a talk about Worthing, talk about town criers. So drop me a message. I've got a Zoom account, so I can talk for more than 40. I have to have a Zoom account because I normally talk for more than 40 minutes, Janice. So, before I had a Zoom account, everyone used to cut me off after 40 minutes, and I'd only just started. So, so that's why I have to have a Zoom account. And of course, having a Zoom account means you can live stream, of course, as well, which is absolutely fantastic to facilities like this. So, thank you all, Donna, Sue, Julie, Mel, Patrick, Denise, Jason, and of course, Dr. Peter. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to end the recording now. We're going to end the live stream, but look out for each other. Remember, ask twice, and it's good to talk.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everyone.